You know some songs and some chords. However, when you're playing these songs, you don't know where these chords comes from. So stay tuned, because today I will show you how to build these chords using the major scale. Hey guys, I'm Everton Zaquini, and let's talk about how to build chords using the major scale. And this way that I will show you, you can use also for other scales. But for this lesson, it's really important that you know a little bit about intervals, and maybe you have some idea about how to build chords. I will do a quick review about it, but intervals will be very important that you know a little bit. Alright? So before we start with these things, let's understand why you need to know how to build chords using this scale. So for example, if you want to compose a song, you have a melody, and then you don't know how to use chords for this melody. If you know the scale and how to build the chords from the scale, then you can use the notes of the scale to harmonize this melody. So let's say that you have the notes C, D, and E. 3 notes. And you have a melody. Just 3 notes, C, D, and E. But now, how do you harmonize these melodies? So if you know the chords that are inside of the C major scale, you can use these chords. So let's use this first one, C. So I have C here, and then you play, and I will play F from C major scale, A minor. Okay, so I just used the notes from C major, and then I harmonized my melody. This is why it's important to understand the scales. Once you have a melody, you can use the chords, and you can do the other way around. So if you know some chords, you can create melodies using the scale to put over these chords. So now let's do a quick review how to build chords, and then let's harmonize a C major scale and see all the chords, okay? Alright, so for chord construction, let's see here how we build 4-note chords, okay? We have triads, 4-note chords, and extended chords. Today, let's talk about some 4-note chords. Let's just get 3 families of chords: major chords, minor chords, and half diminished chords. When you want to build a 4-note chord, you need to get the notes. So let's say we are in C, so you have C, D, E, F, G, A, B. So we're gonna get the first one, then we're gonna get the third one, then we get the 5th, and then we're gonna get the 7th. So we just get 1, 3, 5, 7. These are the intervals that we need. One thing that is good to notice is that when you're building this chord, we use third intervals to build chords. From your root note to your third, it's a third interval. From your third to your 5th, it's a third interval. From your 5th to your 7th, also a third interval. So we just use thirds to build chords. And then if you know the intervals, we can get major chords, minor chords. Major chords, we're going to use root note that gives the name of the chord but doesn't give us the sound. So the root note will tell you what chord it is. Then we get the third. Now the third is really important because it makes your chord major or minor. Then we have the 5th, and then we have the major or minor 7th. Major or minor 7th will help you to give the function of the chord. This is another subject. We're going to talk about this maybe another video. So we're going to focus on our root note and our third today. So when you have your root note and your major third, they are 2 whole steps apart from each other. When you have your root note and your third is 1.5 steps away from each other, it's a minor third. On the guitar, it's basically if you have a C major chord here, what am I going to do is I will get the root note and I will get the third. So I have C, D, E. My third is E. The E note is right over here on under my finger too. So I have C and then I have E. These two notes are 2 whole steps away from each other. Now, if I move this E half step back, I have here E flat. So now my chord is a minor chord. So I have the root note C and the minor third, which is E flat. The distance between the root note to my third is 1.5 steps. So now I have E flat. So major chord, major third, minor chord, minor third. Now we put my fifth here, minor, major, happy sound, minor, sad sound. Alright? So this is how we build chords. Now let's see how we do this inside of the scale. Before we talked about the chords inside of the scale, subscribe to the channel and ring the bell. Don't miss these lessons. Every week, new lessons for you guys, so you can keep learning new things and improving. Also, put in the comments if you have any suggestion or what do you think of these videos or things that you want to learn, okay? So now let's get into the chords inside of the scale. Okay, now that we did just a review how to build chords, what you need to do is to get this formula, this first, third, fifth, and seventh, and apply it inside of the scale for each degree of the scale. So in C major, we have 7 degrees, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. And for each one of these notes, we're going to build chords using root, third, fifth, and seventh, okay? All right, so for the first degree, let's see here, we have C. So for C, for the first degree of the scale, we're going to use C, and then we get the next note E, the third, then we get the fifth, and B. And then I put here again my major third. Alright, so here's our first degree. Then I do the same thing for the second degree, so now it's D. So I will have D, then I will get my fifth first, so I have D, then A. My seventh now, I have C, and then I have my minor third F, because in the scale of C, the F is natural. So I need to get the notes from the scale to build the chord of D, alright? So I apply the formula, root, third, fifth, and seventh, and I get the notes from the C major scale to build D minor. Then I do the same thing to E. One thing here, you can get the 1, 3, 5, 7, but you don't need to play in this sequence. You can play in a different order. Many chords on the guitar, usually we do like 1, 5, 7, 3, 5, sometimes in a different order. For example, on a piano, you can see all the notes in sequence easily, okay? So let's get this idea. So here I have E, then my fifth, B, then my seventh here, which is D, then my minor third, G, because on the scale of C, the G is natural. Cool, so we have 3 chords. C major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7. Alright, now we're gonna do this to the other degrees. So if you do the same thing, the same approach, then you have the other chords, okay? So the 4th degree will be F major 7, the 5th degree will be G7, the 5th degree will be A minor. Then we have here now the 7th degree, which we can call B half diminished, or we can call B minor 7 flat 5, and then C again. Alright, now I'll play the 7 chords that I can build for each degree of the scale. Okay, so here I have all the chords, 4-note chords, and I will play them in sequence. So I have C major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, G7, A minor 7, B minor 7, flat 5, and C major 7. Now, as we know this idea, you can build for all other keys, and you can apply this idea not only for major scale, but you follow the same approach for minor and other different scales. One thing that is really important to notice that you have the first degree, okay? So C will be a major chord with major 7th. Then we have here our 4th degree, which is a major chord with major 7th. And then we have here our 5th degree, which is a major chord with minor 7, okay? We call this a dominant chord. So we have 1 major, 4 major, and 5th major. This is the common chord progression that we call 1, 4, 5. So C, F, G, C. For all other keys, you have the same sequence. Once you know that the 1st degree of the scale, the 4th degree, and the 5th degree of the scale are major chords, now when you move the key, remember the major scale is a formula, so you just follow the same sequence. So if you're playing a different key, your 1st degree will be major, your 4th degree will be major, and your 5th degree will be major. So for example, if you're playing D major, 1st degree, D major 7, your 4th degree will be G major 7, and then you have the 5th degree, A7. So you apply 1, 4, 5, 1, okay? And if you get on this case, the 2nd degree, the 3rd degree, and the 6th degree are your minor chords. Also, you repeat in all different keys. And you're always on the major scale, you have the 7th degree of the scale, a minor 7 flat 5 chord, or half diminished. So now, 2 things that are important for you to know is that you can build any chord knowing the notes of the scale, okay? So for any scale that you know, so you can build different chords, and that this pattern will repeat to a different key. So in this case, major scale, always your 1st, 4th, and 5th degrees of the scale will be major, always your 2nd, 3rd, 6th degree of the scale will be minor, and your 7th degree, always minor 7 chord with flat 5, or we call also half diminished chord. So now I'll play the 7 chords from D, okay? D major, D major 7, E minor 7, F minor 7, G major 7, A7 or A dominant, E minor 7, C sharp minor 7 flat 5, D major 7. There we go. So if you like this video, it's really important that you hit the like and share with your friends. Let's share these lessons, and then at this way I will be helping you, and you can also be helping someone else that wants to learn all this kind of theory on guitar. Thanks for watching. See you next time.